Zombie Apocalypse.
Hey guys, welcome to another video on this channel, Chalo Gaming. Today I will be bringing you a very exciting video. It's actually how you can beat 2.9 and Xbow, 2.9 Xbow and Xbow Decks, because it is one of the hardest decks that you can ever play against when using 2.6 Hog rather, and in this meta they're everywhere. You always find one in any challenge you do. I'm sure in the global tournaments you faced, I'm sure in the no-tilt challenge you face a lot of these, and it just makes you want to play that deck because it is so annoying and it looks like it works every time. But I've got a guide here that I've been preparing to show you guys how you can deal with this. This guide has actually taken a long time because it was difficult to find footage of myself or friends beating 2.9 and 2.9 Xbow and Xbow, but I will try and analyze the gameplay and bring you guys the good quality content. So as you can see, we're facing Xbow right now, and Xbow, you have to remember that they have a rocket, so a thing you never want to do is you never want to place your musketeer from behind, as when the musketeer gets close to the tower, they will just rocket it for a good value. And then when defending Xbow, you can send in a Hog Rider if they play a Tesla, and your Ice Golem is your best friend as it can tank so well for your cannon or musketeer that you can defend with. Normally, if they place a lone Xbow, you can defend with a nice golem, and then you place a musketeer completely to the left of the right of the map. However, when they paired with other buildings such as Tesla, the Ice Spirit, the Knight, the Ice Wizard, and stuff like that, you want to go for a Fireball and your supporting units. But defending the Xbow is not the most difficult part. It is getting the more damage than that Xbow, the difficult part. And the way that you want to do it is you always want to, whenever they place a defensive Xbow, you always want to fireball the Xbow with the tower, as that will be one of your main sources of damage. As you can see, this deck actually has so many counters for the Hog Rider. It has Tornado, it has Rocket, it has Tesla, it has everything you can imagine. So you just want to take some damage, you just want to get some damage by using your decks. And then they will try to Rocket Cycle you, and when they do, you just have to remember that you have to push with your other troops, so that you can get more damage, as when they play a rocket, they will have less elixir than you. But look at this placement. When they have Xbow, you place your Ice Golem and then you place your Musketeer behind, and if they support it with anything else, you can place a Cannon or a Hog Rider. But normally that should be enough, unless if you're playing with 2.9 Xbow, they will try and actually fireball your units, which can be horrible. However, in this deck, you can see that by chipping away at their tower, we're actually able to get a lot of damage. And see, same placements. You put the Ice Golem, then you put your Musketeer, and if they support it with anything, you place your Cannon. And yeah, so that's the way you have to chip at the tower. Just a lot of logs at the river so that they can keep hitting it, and when you're like 1 or 2 fireballs away, go all in, as you can cycle very quickly. For example, there we get our first fireball, and then we just have to cycle very quickly with the log and everything, and then we'll get back to the fireball in no time. This was actually a replay from the global tournament, I think. But yeah, then I faced some other Xbows and I wasn't able to beat them. So we'll jump into the next matches. This actually is a bit weird because I am the one playing Xbow, and my friend here, Mexican Daddy, who is actually a YouTuber called Clash with Cruz, is playing the 2.6 Hog Rider, sorry. And we did this because we were trying to figure out a strategy in which 2.6 could actually beat Xbow. And even though I'm not the best Xbow player in the world, I know the basics, and he was a lot better than me. We played a lot of games. He was 2.9 and I was 2.6, and he would beat me all the time. But we actually came to a conclusion. He stated that the best way to defeat it was save yourself a Hog Rider and a Fireball to defend the Xbow. As a Hog Rider goes directly for structures, you should be able to do so, and the Fireball is in case they support the Xbow with anything else. So what I was trying to do here is place offensive Xbows to see how he could handle it, and it was always he would place cheap cards and then the Hog Rider and then Fireball to take care of any supporting cards that the Xbow player could have. And it actually worked a lot, and you will see how close it comes to, like, how close of a match it is. We actually played 2 matches. The next one you can see better what the strategy was, but in this one you can get a glimpse of it. So actually you want to keep a cool mind and you want to be well rested before playing against Xbow, because I'm telling you, these matches will last forever. I don't think I've played against an Xbow and it hasn't gone into overtime ever. But look at the strategy. When you play Hog Rider and then Fireballs, it will work most of the time. And even though you're not getting damage on the tower, you're defending well and you're just hoping to get to 2 times elixir, or that's what he did at least. And the 2 times elixir, you will want to play your Hog Rider to cycle it, to cycle their Xbow out and their Tesla out. So here I played a defensive Xbow just to support my offensive Xbow in next turn, but he does it really well, and he fireballs the Xbow with the tower, and then logs it out to kill it so that he can go in for an offensive Hog Rider, or so that I cannot play another Xbow and get more value of the defensive one. So I play it in the same side and he fireballs it again, and now he's just cycling a lot of cards because he doesn't want to waste his Hog Rider or his Ice Golem and give me a chance to play an offensive Xbow and beat him. But you see that right here we're getting into overtime, which is where the matches become a bit more entertaining, as he can do a very quick cycle and actually beat me, or maybe not, we'll have to see. So here the Xbow almost takes out the Musketeer, and but it's still alive with like 1 HP. And look at here, we try to support our Xbow with the Tesla, with Skellies and everything, and the Fireball plus Ice Golem plus Log just shuts everything off. And here, as we don't have the Tesla because we used it in offense, he just goes for a Hog Rider, and we have to defend with an Xbow. That is a very well played by him, as he managed to make us get the Tesla out of our hand, and then he goes in for a Hog Rider, which was a very good play by him, and it is what you should aim to do. Just defend an Xbow properly, try to save your Hog Rider, and if you defend the Xbow with a Fireball, you can actually manage to take it out, and if they use the Tesla offensively, you're free to go, you're free to use basically your Hog Rider on the other lane or on the same lane and get some value. Watch right here, he used a Fireball, but there was nothing to Fireball, so he was just trying to get chip damage and cycled his cards again. Here he goes with a Hog Rider on the opposite lane, and he fireballs the Xbow, but we place a Tesla on the very close to the bridge, and now he just goes with another Hog Rider, as he knows that our cycle is way slower than his, and we overcommit on defense. So that's what you want to keep doing. You want to wait until overtime, and in overtime you want to just keep being extremely aggressive, send so many hogs in, cycle very quickly, and wait for him to commit mistakes as you have the quicker cycle. And you can see that right here, even though I missed the Fireball and he threw in a Hog Rider instead of a Fireball, which is what he wanted to do, he ends up taking the first win. Let's jump into the last match, which is where you really get to see his strategy. So basically what you want to get is you want to get as much chip damage as you can. So right here he will start with a nice Spirit at the bridge to try and get it to the tower. But as we know that he's trying to get as much damage as he can, we try and absorb that, but he gets a log into the tower, and then we're going in with the offense. What does he do? He Hog Riders and then fireballs the Xbow, which is his main strategy to shut down the Xbows in single elixir time, and then just places something just in front of the tower so that it cannot connect every single time. Right now, you just want to cycle everything. He's trying to play passively until we get to double elixir, because as we all know, that is when 2.6 Hog Rider shines. Watch how he's just trying to chip our towers with logs, with ice spirits and everything. And then when the time comes, right here for example, as there are no supporting cards, he uses Ice Golem and Musketeer, but then he also uses a Fireball. And then the log, which can provide a lot of damage when taking off the Xbow, as the log will just damage the Xbow, skim right through, and damage the tower as well. But here we're getting close into 2 times elixir, so he will just keep playing passively. No Ice Golems in the back, never do that, because then your opponent is free to place a Xbow and you won't have a tank to absorb the damage and the hits. And then, as I said before, a lot of logs. Try to not place any Musketeers near the tower, because that will give them a lot of value, as this matchup is to see who can get more chip damage if you manage to defend all their pushes, all their Xbow pushes correctly. So see how he's never leaking elixir. Every Ice Golem is placed in front of the bridge, and here he told me that what he's trying to do, he placed his Musketeer in the back of the tower, so that I would Fireball and then be lower in elixir, and he would be able to attack with the Hog Rider in a better position. But I didn't do that, and here he places a nice Golem in the back, but that's because we just used an Xbow defensively, so he's free to do that. And remember, he fireballs and logs all the defensive Xbows so that they cannot be then turned into an offensive Xbow. So here he goes, since we're getting into overtime, he's just going to be extremely aggressive with the Hog Riders. He's just going to try and push a lot of times. So we try to be aggressive with our Xbows as well. However, look at the value that your cannon can get when defending an Xbow. The cannon plus Ice Golem combo just shut down the Xbow, and then he just keep trying to get. This is an incredible play, because he plays the Hog Rider and then plays the Musketeer right next to the river, so that it can start targeting the Xbow and give a lot more pressure. And see how he keeps cycling every single time to get back to the Hog Rider, which is putting us against the ropes, as we don't know if we can place an Xbow, if we can defend properly, if anything. But since he's playing these cheaper cards against the Xbow, which is very expensive, he's just being able to cycle everything. And see here, we used the Tesla on offense, so now he's free to just cycle back to the Hog Rider and get a lot of value from it. However, as there is an defensive Xbow, he just logs and fireballs the tower that is closed, as you always should do. And as you can see here, he decides to pressure me once again with the Musketeer close to the river and the Hog Rider taking care of the Tesla, and then just cycles all the cheap cards, fireballs the Xbow, and then goes opposite lane immediately with the Hog Rider, and then just cycles all the cheap cards and gets so quickly back to another Hog Rider that I just don't know what to do. And at the same time, he fireballs the Xbow as the Ice Golem is tanking for it. But here there's 8 seconds left, and he will get the most damage out of us. And look at this ending, which is pretty epic. And the winner is the Xbow player, as he managed to get so much value out of fireballs, logs, and all that chip damage. Anyways, I'm not sure if this guide was very clear. I will try and bring a new one when I get more hang of the deck, but I just wanted to bring this just in case you guys were feeling lost. But just remember do a lot of chip cycle. In a single elixir time, try to be more passive, and in double elixir, try to break his cycle and make a lot of hog ladder pushes. So I hope this video helped. If it did, click the like button and subscribe please, and comment on what other videos you want to see. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next time.